Hello everyone, I am Dr. Uttara. I'm a consultant diabetologist at Dr. Mohan Diabetes Specialty Center, Gopalapuram. I'm happy to meet you all on this World Health Day. So happy healthy days forward for you all. And today I'm here to talk to you about healthy aging. So what does a tertiary diabetes care center like Dr. Mohan Diabetes Specialty Center have to do with healthy aging? So if you see, diabetes and healthy aging are closely related. I can keep on quoting a lot of scientific data, give you a lot of numbers about how much diabetes will cause this problem, that problem. But in a day-to-day general practice, if you see, I get a husband and wife who come to my consultation. Okay, the husband is diabetic and the wife is not. Hardly they have 2 years, 3 years difference. I can see the deterioration of their health visibly during my 15 to 20 years of consultation with that patient. How the diabetic spouse deteriorates much accelerated way. Aging is accelerated in that person compared to the non-diabetic spouse who doesn't age that fast. There are a lot of reasons, but most commonly if you see, they have a similar diet, they have a similar lifestyle, similar stress factors for both of them. But yet the diabetic spouse has a accelerated aging. That's because diabetes has a huge impact on aging. So, and just not aging, what are the common problems during aging? There are something we call as geriatric giants. Okay, geriatric giants is immobility, incontinence, and they are feeling a depression and cognitive decline. That is all impaired cognition. All these 4 eyes are considered as geriatric giant, and there is enough data which says that all of this is much more pronounced or much more accelerated in the diabetic compared to the non-diabetic population. So that's why diabetic has to be even more cautious and should plan their healthy aging a little prior to probably the general population. Another very important aspect when we see 2 equal age people aging, they don't look similar. One person is able to go for a marathon also when 80 plus, another person unable to even get up and go to the toilet. There are reasons like there are other comorbidities like other chronic disorders, whether that person has diabetes, whether the person has hypertension, heart diseases, a lot of things, had a fracture or a fall, lot of things. But one important thing which differentiates the functionality or the functional reserve of the patient is called frailty. And I think that is one of an high impact complication of diabetes, which is gaining more and more importance. And I think we have to definitely look into when as a person gets old, the frailty levels should also be assessed in a general regular checkup. So when we assess the frailty levels, we would be able to differentiate the functional capacity of the patient. So when we know the functional capacity, we know whether we have to be cautious about the falls or fractures, whether the prognosis, what all complications can come in later. Because in a frail individual, if they get an infection or something, the chances of their recovery is much less than a non-frail individual. And diabetes increases the risk of frailty. At our center also we did a study, we compared non-diabetic and diabetic people and whether they are frail or not. We had a questionnaire done and we also did something called the hand grip. Hand grip is one of the signs where you will see how much can you grip with a dynamometer, and it can show the sarcopenia or the muscle strength also, which will also usually decline as the person ages. And we saw the hand grip strength was much less in the diabetic population, and they were termed as with the questionnaire and the hand grip, they were termed as frail. So the frailty level is much higher in the diabetic population. So how do we prevent frailty? First thing is look out for it, check for it, be proactive, try to find out whether you're developing of signs of frailty. Be proactive, talk to your doctor about frailty. 1. Number 2 is your diet and exercise. So I think if you're exercising regularly, especially resistance training, because muscle loss will lead on to your reduced functional capacity, and everyone loses muscle. They start losing muscle when you cross 40 itself, you start losing muscle. But it gets accelerated when you are like 70 and so on, and then when you are on medication, when you are on when you're a diabetic and other chronic disorders, again the muscle loss is much rapider. So to prevent that, make sure you exercise regularly, especially resistance training. Number 2 is your diet. Increase your protein intake so that your muscle loss is actually slowed down. We can't prevent total muscle loss, but it can definitely be slowed down so that you can improve your health span rather than your lifespan. So what can we do about it? What should each of us do to have a healthy aging on when you're aging, and what can we do? There is a book by a Harvard professor which I found very interesting. There's an acronym called SHIELD, SHIELD. So you can easily remember that. So if you do this, you can definitely have a healthy aging process. S stands for sleep. So I think sleep is very important, and make sure that you have around 6 to 8 hours of healthy sleep pattern. And when I say sleep, it's the quality of sleep, the pattern, sleep pattern, sitting and watching Netflix and other things late nights, or binge eating, and all that should be avoided once you are looking at a healthy aging. So sleep is very important. Next, H is hold control your stress. So handle your stress. That is for H. So stress can definitely have a huge impact on your aging process. You can very well visibly see when you're stressed how you look. You look a little older, and then when you are not stressed. So handle your stress. Do meditation, and go seek help. That's how you should handle your stress. That is for H. I is for interaction. So there are a lot of data which says that people who stay socially active usually have a slower aging process, and their cognition is well maintained if they are socially interactive. So have friends, continue to interact, go out with your friends. It's not that once you're 60 plus and so on, you have to stay back at home and prioritize only your family or your health. And meeting friends and socializing is also prioritizing your health. So that's the I. And then E is definitely exercise. And exercise, I think we can go on a whole podcast itself for the benefits of exercise on your mental health, your physical health, your emotional health, and so on. But make sure when I say exercise, you look at the FAR principle, FAR. So make sure you have flexibility exercises. Aerobics, FA is for aerobic. Aerobics is like cycling, treadmill, what you call cardio exercises. And R is for resistance training. So resistance training, some simple dumbbells or a 2 liter water bottle. Make sure you do some resistance exercises so that you preserve your muscle. That is the E. And L is for learning a new skill. I think that's very important to keep your mind active. So if you keep your mind active, your body will also be active. I've retired. That's it. End of any studies or any learning new things and so on. So that kind of put you back. So therefore, learn something new, not necessarily rocket science or something big. You can be a simple musical instrument or a simple new language or something. That will definitely make you look forward to the next day and keep your mind active. Last but not the least, D stands for diet, and make sure you have a healthy diet. And when do we start eating healthy? Any day. Today is the right day to start eating healthy, whatever age you are. But diet is very important. Make sure you prioritize fiber and protein. So these are the two important components. There's no one magic diet or anything which I can recommend and say eat this and you will be healthy or you will have a healthy aging. But make sure there's enough fiber in your diet. Fiber comes from your fruit, vegetables, nuts, and so on. And also make sure there is protein. So good source of protein and fiber, if it is there, that will be ideal. So remember, when you want to have a healthy aging, shield. Use your shield to protect against unhealthy lifestyle. As we old, people tend to forget things. That's kind of considered as a part of normal aging. So many of my patients do ask, how do I differentiate whether my mother or father or self itself, forgetting things. I walk into the room and I forget why I walked into the room, or I open the fridge, I forget why I opened the fridge. Is it normal, or am I getting signs of dementia and so on? So how do we differentiate? This is a common doubt many of our patients or many of us do have. How do we really differentiate? Well, it's a very difficult question to answer because, but if it's repetitively happening, so if you're forgetting things too often and if your quality of life is affected because of this repetitive memory losses and so on, then I think definitely you have to seek help, because there are a lot of non-invasive ways of assessing whether the memory issues that you're facing is something to worry about, it's something to show a pre-sign of some disorder, or is it just a normal process of stress or lack of sleep and things like that, lack of concentration and simple day-to-day things like that. It's not necessary you'll have to do an MRI brain scan or a functional MRI to find that out. There are a lot of questionnaires or tools. Even at our healthy aging clinic, we have something called the MOCA, something called the Addenbrooke's. There are a lot of questionnaires which can help us out to differentiate whether the memory or the cognitive issues the person is facing has to go in for some medical attention, or it's just not part of normal aging. So ladies and gentlemen, age is just a number. So don't worry if your age is adding on every year. For everyone it does add on. So what you have to make sure is your health span is added on, and lifespan can be whatever, but the health span is what we are looking at. To have a healthy health span, that is an active life, even when you are crossed 70, to have an healthy and active life is what we are looking at. For that, your cognitive health, that is your mental health, and your physical health is very important. So the investment today will have a very good return when you age on. So please start exercising and taking care of your diet right now. Thank you.